To start with, we're going to talk about the Army Cyber Institute for just a moment. And Colonel Greg Conti is the director of the Army Cyber Institute. He's a military intelligence officer here at West Point, and he has led this organization since its inception of 2012. From 2007 to 2014, he was also the director of West Point Cyber Research Center and served as an academy professor in West Point's Department of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. I do learn, sir. I do correct my mistakes there. So he holds a PhD from Georgia Institute of Technology, an MS from Johns Hopkins University, and a BS from West Point, all of them in computer science.
Okay. Well, thanks again. So one of the most frequently asked questions I get is, what's going on here at West Point? What's going on in the Army with regard to this thing that is cyber? And is also get asked, what's going on at the other service academies? It's just baked into pretty much every time I give a talk in front of a joint audience. So the purpose today then with the various talks is to give short introductions for everybody to see what's going on, because there's really innovation occurring across the board. I wanted to give you a quick overview of what we have going on here. And and can we project the slides on the main screen too, or that doesn't, okay. That's good to know. So really the West Point's been doing cyber since 2000, trying to really based initially out of the Department of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, which championed it to teach cadets and help build leaders. And Colonel Shoup will be coming, the department head from the department will be coming up speaking more in depth about that today. What I'm going to talk about right now is the Army Cyber Institute, which is the institute behind this organization. And the idea is West Point has small centers that are designed to be innovative and agile. And there's a small center here called the ITOC, it became the Cyber Research Center, the CRC. And that emerged and grew people and seeded them into the force since 1999, 2000. And then along the way in 2010, and we have the founding father here, I might as well point him out since he's here, Colonel Dan Ragsdale, Colonel retired Dan Ragsdale. But we seeded these people to the force. So when the time came, we knew that they would be needed, and they, all the people we put out there, I believe, rose to the occasion and were pulled in to the operational cyber unit circa 2010. And then we tried to, again, from here with the limited resources we had, to try and do more and go out and engage U.S. Cyber Command in particular and Army Cyber Command. And we had both Commanding General Hernandez and General Alexander come up and pull in as many people as they can, kind of the seed corn for these organizations to help define the way ahead. And I think they went out and did great things, and the demand, as we know, it's growing, it's getting more and more really serious every day. We need more of these people. We need more with thoughts, more insights. So in 2012, we received a cryptic note down through the chain of command that said, post-decision, pre-announcement, the Chief of Staff of the Army wants to create the Army Cyber Institute at West Point. Landed in our laps because we were the cyber folks, and for 3 years we've been doing that. So from a cryptic email that came out of the blue and surprised us to this event today was under 3 years. So in terms of, and along the way we had to write business plans and get the, they're called concept plans, to get the resources aligned, renovation well, first identify space and the buildings, and really recruit the right people. All of those things had to come together very, very rapidly, and we've been running ever since with the support of the Academy. So we'll go to the next slide, next invisible slide. So I have a really good joke here. And I know you can't see, but the little tiny picture there is me with a giant pair of scissors and the Secretary of the Army when we declared FOC. And they don't teach you in any of the command courses or military training how to wield giant scissors. But I made it through the cutting of the ribbon, which when you're cutting a ribbon with the Secretary of the Army, it takes about 400 hours of planning to get to the point of safely cutting the ribbon and planning the entire event around it. But it was a big success, and it showed that we had senior leader support. But what we're trying to do with the ACI is create an agile, innovative institution inside the Army with an Army Joint National Mission that's a place where people want to work with this type of expertise, and that we can bring them in, allow them to innovate and partner. Much of what we do is unclassified by design, because as Admiral Rogers mentioned, it's really the bane of the intelligence community is they can't talk about what they do. And if you're going to go participate in a variety of communities, you have to contribute. You can't be the people in the back that your ID tag just says DOD and you're wearing a suit and you just take notes and then you leave. That's not how it works. Okay, you have to contribute, you have to go down there, and you have to speak the language of the various tribes that you're interacting with. In the business world, if you're going to, if you want to communicate, you don't need the Army guy who doesn't know what a cost center is or whatever the language of industry is. It'd be a lot better if we had a Harvard MBA or something like that on the team who's our interface and has relationships in that community. And that's what we've been trying to do, is build that type of team. We are 75 people, so that's a serious investment. We were authorized 75 people and a baseline budget that kind of keep the lights on and provide the kind of the baseline day-to-day expenses. And a very flat organization, report to the superintendent, and then the superintendent really reports to the chief of staff of the Army. So it's designed to be outside the beltway to kind of allow that critical thinking and kind of on this neutral ground of an academic institution, and that we're able to cross boundaries, right? That we're able to remain aware of what's going on in the operational force so our work is relevant, but also be able to communicate effectively with the outside world. And when it comes to priorities, like Janus, and I used to say Janus from Greek mythology, but one of my colleagues reminded me that it's actually Janus of Roman mythology, that we have to look both ways. We have to look inward to the Army and be cognizant of Army needs, and we have to look outward to the rest of the world, to the nation. And I find that when we look too much inward to the Army, we get thwacked because we're not looking outward enough. And when we look outward, we're not looking at the Army enough. So it's a constant game to fill both needs. But if we do it right, if we choose cross-cutting problems, let's say a problem of insider threat, that's of great interest in industry, it's a great interest to DoD, and maybe that's an area that we can work on that then allows for there to be a partnership. We've had great support in terms of, I mean, really blessed support in terms of people coming and rallying and helping us build this thing. We were able to bring on General Hernandez, who led Army Cyber Command, or created, really was there at the formation. General Alexander just joined the advisory board, and we have a wealth of other leaders across industry and academia who've been helping, and it's really making a tremendous difference. And something else I think that we've done that's unique is we're taking a truly multidisciplinary approach, or interdisciplinary approach. That normally you get the tech people, they see the world with their tech hammer and say, I can solve this with a tech hammer. Well, as much as I'd like to see all computer scientists working on this problem, there's much, much more than that. And then if you talk to the policymakers, it's, we'll just create a new policy or a new law that will fix this. And that's not it either. But they're part of the equation. What we did is we took a very holistic approach and went and looked at almost every academic discipline and realized, wow, there's a very significant intersection between whatever discipline and this thing that is cyber. Define it as you would, cybersecurity, cyber operations. Psychology, absolutely. History, absolutely. Policy, law, systems engineering, all, as you go down the line, even foreign languages, the idea of like jargon of criminal hacker groups that are international. And we also looked at the military specialties, because what we're talking about is companies are fending off nation states. And that's really an unprecedented place to be. So military thinking of how do you defend large scale? How perhaps is act defense conducted? Things from military doctrine such as deception, battlefield deception. It's been happening forever on the battlefield. What does that look like in cyberspace? Can we turn the tables on normally the conventional wisdom says the attacker always wins. right? The defender is always at a disadvantage in cyber operations. Maybe by applying military deception doctrine, we can then turn the tables the defender, because it's our turf. We control the laws of physics on our networks. So we brought that together. We have people then across military disciplines and academic disciplines. The only discipline I couldn't find an intersection with cyber was chemistry, and I'm sure someone will tell me that I'm wrong. But again, we're taking that very multidisciplinary approach. We have an ethics person who's studying privacy specifically, and all of that's coming together in a really powerful way. It allows us a variety of optics to, I think, give better results. And again, a very serious effort, 75 people. Now, the intent, though, was scaffolding, the idea that we're creating something compelling and powerful and make a difference, but 75 people can't boil the ocean. So the idea is the Department of the Army keeps the lights on, gives us basic funding, but create the scaffolding that external people want to partner with us and work on various problems. And that there's the potential inside the DoD of like transferring MIPRD money in to allow a surge in a particular area. We'd like to get to the point where we have industry chairs participating in the ACI, like in the hallway working on problems. The Association of Graduates, do you have any AOG reps in the room? I just want to point that out. Yeah, there we go. Have been exceptionally helpful. They've really prepared a special program, Cyber at West Point program, as part of their For Us All campaign. So if you have any questions about that, that's one way that people can work with us. In terms of lines of effort, now again, this is one of those things. Lines of effort in Army speak is it's like your major focus areas, and we focused in several. One is conducting research in this area, looking 5 to 10 years out, trying to perform a reconnaissance, looking the hill after next on what's coming down. So when we face a problem, we've already done reconnaissance of it, and we already have some ideas and some thought, rather than, because once it happens, you're in a knife fight. You're in this very constant, have to brief the general by close of business today, and that's not a good place to be. So we need thoughtful, deliberate research going on out there. We're also finding that demand is very high, and that things we think are 5 years out are actually almost upon us. So it's a constant game. To create partnerships around problems is another focus area, because again, we can't do it all. The tremendous expertise from really across all sectors, and to form around a problem. We can't partner with everybody. We can't get married to everybody just by dancing once, nor do we really intend to. We need to maintain awareness of what people are interested in and are doing, and know where special areas lie, and we see opportunities to work together. We can come together around a problem in a dynamic, I believe, and powerful way. Also, looking at how to conduct education in cyber education. The Army has a major challenge ahead in inserting the right amount of cyber education from basic training for the private all the way up to general officer finishing school, informally. That's what they're called. General officer finishing school. What's the right amount of cyber along the way for everybody, for the enabler community who are kind of quasi-specialists, and then the deep dive experts in the area. So and I think, again, that intersects well with many other groups. So it really comes down to cross-cutting problems. Ideally, we can root them into West Point, because we have tremendous resources here with the cadets and faculty, but we're really an Army institution as well. So we're part of West Point, report to the superintendent, but we also are working at that intersection between the interface between the Army and West Point. And I think we can reach beyond in these areas. That a lot of things got public-private partnership, or as one of our partners suggested, private-public partnership, suggested that we really have, we can go beyond just intelligence sharing, where lawyers get threat intelligence sharing, where we're threatened by lawyers, that we can cross lines very quickly. There are many, many ways we can help. What we're trying to do too is create intellectual capital. So the idea of create valuable products and publish them, put them online, and we've worked with external collaborators as well. We have a scholar program, so an affiliate scholar program. So if people want to work with us, we can bring them in and work on a given problem. Again, these are unclassified. We've formed a journal, Cyber Defense Review, cyberdefensereview.org. That's, maybe you've seen Small Wars Journal, which focuses on counterinsurgency. We founded this in January, have 8 articles online, both short viewpoint pieces and long articles. If you're interested, I encourage you. This is a way, if you want to work with us, this is a great way you can work with us. And ultimately, we're going to move just from an online edition to a heavily peer-reviewed version, a print edition as well, that will pull from the best of our submissions. Another area is, and we have an opportunity today, is the Center for Oral History. They've done deep dive interviews with a number of people, and we're putting them online for all to see, to help create a historic record. They're outside if you want to do your part, because you all have a story to tell. And we want young guns all the way up to very experienced people, because to capture the moment. Another area is we worked with the history department. They wrote a book called Stand Up and Fight, and it's now done and it's available online for free, written by the history department, where the idea came from this creation of new organizations and inside the government. How are the special forces formed? How is the Army Air Corps formed? What lessons can we learn from those organizations that are valuable to the inception of Cyber Command? That's what they took on, did a very fine job of it, and that's available online. Have created a distinguished lecturer program. Most recently, we brought in General Hayden and Chris Segoyan, again, kind of debating the subject of privacy and civil liberties and surveillance. An awesome debate, and again, we're trying to put these materials online. And most recently, we brought in Mary Aiken, who is if you've heard of CSI Cyber, she's the person that CSI Cyber is based on, and she's also the executive director for the show. So we published a short thought piece on the power of Hollywood being able to influence populations and help them think about cybersecurity, and that drew her attention, brought her here, and we had a great discussion. And I mean, that's showing you how you can chain these things together, and we put her in front of cadets. It was really a win across the board. Another area is the idea of bringing everyone together down in DC. General Cardone, if you're familiar with TED Talks, General Cardone is a fan of them. He's the commanding general of Army Cyber Command. And he asked us to create TED Talks-like event for cyber. And we've done that. We've held 2 down at the National Defense University. And it brings in people from all across the cyber operational community. We've opened it to the public, but if you want to learn more, absolutely welcome you to join us. It'll be available online at our website, cyber.army.mil. Pretty easy to remember. And we're looking at 22nd of September, so that's a way you can play. This is, we have had some pilot partnerships as well, and I think a number of the people that in the room have been part of it. So I think what we're hoping to do is build a critical mass of people that we've worked with. One, the FBI, we've had some great exchanges with them. Columbia University sent people down and did guest lectures and vice versa. Citigroup had an offsite here of their security team, which were able to take part. Cubic Corporation, we're talking to them. They're the ones that instrument the National Training Center. And as we try and figure out what tactical cyber or cyber support to core and below, trying to figure it out, a great problem to discuss. And we're partnering again with our cyber on the Cyber Talks, and the Marine Forces Cyber for the journal. Something else that we've done is we've done a great job, I think, of putting individuals out, we being the West Point, really. But the problem is there wasn't enough. It didn't scale. So we reverse engineered some of the people. What did we do? These people who drank deeply from the well, what did we do to get them over and above? This is over and above what they did in the classroom. We found out they did internships. We got them clearances. We sent them through specialized training and created a checklist of all the things we did. So to scale this up, we gave it a formal name, the Cyber Leader Development Program. Staffed it through the Army G1, got a formal skill identifier associated with it. Got up in front of each cadet class and briefed it. Provide mentorship and guidance through 4 years. And as a result, we've got 160 cadets who are enrolled in the Cyber Leader Development Program who are going to get, if they drink deeply from the well, 800 hours outside the classroom that they volunteer to do. And if you know cadets, they have 800 hours, but they guard them jealously, right? Because that's their social life. So many of them will give up things like spring break to go on a SANS trip, SANS week-long intensive cyber boot camp. And now, but I think more importantly, is we can use our Army hat and reach out to ROTC. So we're reaching out to Cadet Command, have had a workshop where we brought in professors of military science to tell us about how to work with ROTC and Cadet Command, and we're piloting this in Cadet Command. Because I think if you can enlist the best engineering and science schools, many of our recruiting problems, our pipeline problems go away. So again, a powerful idea. And I'll leave with one story about I think the power of moving ahead, and also the fact that things 5 or 10 years out might not be 5 or 10 years out. So we wrote a number of studies on what a cyber branch would look like. And really the last one was published about this time last year. And we also were just trying to look, what would a cyber branch in the Army look like? And for those that aren't familiar, branches in the Army, it's a professional career path that you chain together assignments. That way you don't have to, I mean, historically, honestly, to do cyber in the Army, you really had to do it despite the system. If you did it twice in a row, you're putting your career at risk, 2 assignments in a row. But a branch reinforces that and provides professional training for 30 years of growth and progressive responsibilities. Very powerful thing. So we were doing research in that area and published a number of reports that are available online. And in particular, again, I apologize for being small, we had 2 majors that worked in the Department of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science and in the Cyber Research Center that as a hobby project decided they're going to create the branch insignia for Cyber Branch when it happens. And that's them in the picture on the whiteboard drawing it out about March of last year. At that time, a cyber branch was just a fairy tale that was going to happen. In August, a cyber branch was created by a Secretary of the Army. Really surprised everyone. And on that fall, we chose 15 cadets from West Point, 15 cadets from ROTC to be the first people going in the cyber branch. The cyber branch insignia and heraldry that the folks designed is a reality. It was picked up. A week later, we saw slides coming back, and with Army Cyber Command logos on them, that they really liked it, and they made that type of historic difference. So, and I'm happy to show these to you later. Do we have any 17s in the room? Yeah, so these are the folks, kind of the first batch of Army officers that have been pulled in. Again, we had a chance to help define the criteria, what that should look like, and take part in the cadet selections for West Point ROTC and the Army-wide board. So, just to conclude, and I admit that this is, you have to, for my sister services, we're happy to take the knocks when we're on your turf as well. But the ask, right? We're accused of not having an ask. My ask is tell your friends. Tell your friends that the Army Cyber Institute is a serious effort, that West Point here is taking this development of cyber leaders very seriously. The Army Cyber Institute's building a powerful team. We can't partner with everybody all the time at the level people would like. It's a constant game of prioritization and balancing of resources. But ways you can easily participate, cyber talks. It's online. You're welcome to come. Cyber Defense Review. Have you or your people put leading, thoughtful pieces out there. Help us on social media. We're up on Twitter. Retweet our things. Help tell the story. And then talk to the folks at AOG. Again, they've been doing great work. So with that, I don't know how I stand. I know I had a short timeline. I'm out on time. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.